tall versus short. So Mendel, the plan was to get the homozygous plant. So what should be the genotype? If I'm saying I have to select the homozygous tall plant, what should be the genotype of those plants?
So T, capital T, T, both
Capital T,
capital.
So
both
both
capital T,
T.
right? And here for the short, what should be the genotype? If the pure, if
Small T, T.
Small t,
yes,
small t.
right. If the plant is pure line, if a plant is homozygous, that should be the genotype. Now, genotype can be determined by DNA sequencing. But as I mentioned, that Mendel did not use any sophisticated instrument without DNA sequencing or without using any technology. He just did the simple experiment to find out whether a particular plant is homozygous or not. The experiment is very simple. Let's say he selected a tall plant. Let's consider his approach. He selected a tall plant. What he did, then he did the self fertilization. Self fertilization. That plant was allowed for the self fertilization. Then he got a particular generation. Let's say F1. Then again he did the selfing SF to get another generation. Let's say he did this experiment for several times. Maybe for 10-15 generations he followed that particular plant. And if in each generation you are getting tall plant, what is the meaning of that? If you are following the self fertilization of a tall plant, and in all the generations you are getting, let's say up to 10-15 generations you have followed, and still all the plants which you get from the parental plant up to 10 to 15 generation all are tall. This is one scenario. Second scenario is he selected a tall plant, he started the self fertilization experiment, and again, like self fertilization was done up to 10-15 generation, and let's say at fourth or fifth he got a short plant. What can you say about these two experiments? In first case, up to 10-15 generations all the plants were tall, all the offsprings of this mother plant. In the second case, if you are following, the plan was to do 10-15 generation, but in the fourth generation itself you are getting a short plant. What is the meaning of that? So meaning is very simple. Like here, this plant is homozygous. There was no allele or gene for short. That's why in all the generation you are getting tall. If this tall plant was TT, then you could have got in third generation itself you could have got the short plant, right? But that was not the case in the first approach. So he selected only a particular plant, let's say tall, if up to several generation you are getting the same phenotype. But if you are starting with a tall plant, you are doing self fertilization, and at third or fourth generation you are getting a small plant, short plant. That means here the genotype was not capital T, capital T. It was like this. Because if this allele is there, then only you will get a short plant in some generation, otherwise not. Does it make any sense? Any doubt here with respect to pure lines, how Mendel selected the pure lines? Any doubt here in this approach? Okay, if there is no doubt, let's move. So pure lines means an individual an individual or a group of individual that is homozygous for one or more trait, we declare that particular plant or species as a pure line. And Mendel began by collecting the variety of P which differed from each other in clearly defined ways. So this is the last statement here, which tells about this experiment, how to get the pure lines. He allowed the plants to self-fertilize for a number of generations until he was certain that they were true breeding. Okay, so these three words are used. They are equal actually, pure line, or we can say true breeding, or homozygous. The meaning is same. So now he selected the pure line. He was sure that tall means it is capital T, capital T. When he selected the short one, it is small t, small t. Let's see his experiment now. Okay, so he did two kinds of experiment. First experiment is called monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross means, why this name is given? Because the two parent plant here, they differ from each other by a single trait. Let's say height. That is very easy to understand. So let's consider his experiment. He has taken a tall plant, pure line, that means it is capital T, capital T. He then taken a short plant, small t, small t. Okay. Now in the F1 generation, he got all the tall plants. So based on this experiment, he made the first rule of dominance. That is the first law in genetics, rule of dominance. That means when you are doing a genetic cross between two parental lines which are homozygous, in the F1 generation, only one particular trait is going to appear. And which one? Dominant. The trait which appears in the F1 generation, that is called dominant. The other trait which disappear, that is called recessive. That is the rule of dominance which was made based on this experiment. Now he further moved to the next stage. This is the F1 generation. What he did, he allowed the self-fertilization of F1 to follow the second generation. What he found that here he is getting a short plant. Like if there are 4 plants, 3 are tall and 1 is short. Okay, 3 are tall, 1 is short. Then he started to look at what is the explanation. What is the explanation? If here you are getting a short plant, that means in F1 generation, which possibility is not there? Can you comment anything?
The tall pea plant is not homozygous.
Yes. So he came to the conclusion that he started with the parental generation, which is your capital T, small t, small t. In F1 generation, he got tall plants. Then he did the selfing. And in F2, he got a mixture, 3 tall plus 1 short, if we consider 4 plant together. So that means he came to the conclusion that the genotype for F1, although all the plants are tall, but it cannot be capital T, capital T. It should be capital T, small t, because in the F2 generation, you are getting a short plant. And short plant is possible if you have the small t somewhere in the genotype, otherwise not. Okay, this is, you have seen the complete experiment and you have seen the one law of dominance. What else can we say about, based on this experiment, what else can we say? Suppose you are doing this experiment, so what else can you say?
Sir, can you please repeat question?
Yes. Yeah. The question is, like, you have seen the complete experiment, right? So up to the F2 generation, and I just described the first law of genetics, which is the law of dominance, and you have seen like what Mendel was saying. I was asking, well, like can we comment any other point based on the outcome?
Sir, sir, we can say that tall is more dominant.
Okay, yeah, but that's what Mendel also told, that toll is the dominant one, and that's why he framed the law of dominance.
Sir, pairs will exist. Pair. The characters will exist in pair.
Okay, so there is a, like, you are whatever you are saying, that is the second law, actually, second law of segregation. I will come to that, but before that we can comment one more point, one interesting point here, that basically traits do not blend with each other. Did you understand this sentence? Traits do not blend with each other. He did not get a plant of medium size. Either the plants were tall or short. There was no plant which was having medium height. That means traits do not blend with each other. Can we say that based on this experiment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At present, we can say, but later on, like, somehow Mendel did not come across this kind of situation. But later on, when people started working on other plants, other traits, they came to know that actually traits can blend with each other. And that is called non-Mendelian genetics. Okay, so there are two parts in our course. One is Mendelian genetics, and the second part is non-Mendelian genetics. That means there are several cases where Mendel's laws are not applicable. But that doesn't mean that Mendel was wrong. Mendel was also right under certain conditions. And non-Mendelian genetics, that is also right under certain conditions, which we are, like, once we move or to the enter more into the course, you will understand those points better. But at present, based on this experiment, we can say that traits do not blend with each other. Okay, so now we are going to discuss the, so far we have, he made the rule based on the F1 generation, where he got the old tall plants. So he made the law of dominance, that when you are doing a genetic cross between two pure lines, only one particular trait is going to appear in the F1 generation, and that is called dominant. And the second trait which disappears, that is called recessive. Now let's try to understand what is the logic behind this 3:1, how to explain this ratio. Okay, here this is the text, that original generation we use a symbol P1. P1 means parental generation. F1 means first generation, first filial generation, or F2 means the selfing of F1 give rise to the next generation. So three generations were followed in Mendel's experiment. Now let's talk about the 3:1 ratio. I will come to this slide later. So this particular ratio 3:1 can be explained very nicely if we consider the gamete formation. Okay, let me have a white screen here, or black screen. We have discussed in the beginning of the course that there are two types of cells. somatic cells and gametes. Right. The difference was that, what was the difference between these two, gametes and somatic cells?
Sir, somatic cells are 46
Okay.
and 46 chromosomes, and gametes are 23.
Okay. Okay. That thing is like this number of chromosomes, they are going to vary. Okay.
Sir,
In the
diploid
human
and
case,
haploid.
right. So we can say that gametes have half of the genetic material what actually somatic cells have. Let's say now that there is a plant which we say that it is homozygous. Okay. So that, what is the meaning of this capital T, capital T? That means there are two chromosomes which have the same allele at a particular position. Now, can you tell me what will be the nature of gametes here? What will be the genotype of those gametes?
So both will be capital T.
Okay, so here basically, because gamete will have only one chromosome, so the genotype of gamete will be represented by just a one letter. So there are two types of gametes, but both will be having the same genotype. Now let's see, when you have the genotype capital T, small t, how many gametes are possible here?
So 2.
Okay, what will be their genotype?
Capital T, small t.
Right. Now imagine this situation that you are doing self fertilization. You are doing self fertilization of a plant which where the genotype is capital T, small t. When you are speaking about fertilization, you should consider the gametes. So there will be male gamete and female gamete. So what will be the genotype of male gamete here? If the plant is capital T, small t, this is the genotype of that plant. What will be the genotype of the male gamete? These two. And what will be the phenotype now of female gamete in the same plant? Can you say?
So same only.
Same one, right? Right. So now, when fertilization is going to happen, what happens during fertilization? Male gamete and female gamete, they are going to fuse. What is going to happen now? This male gamete can fuse with this, or it can fuse with this, right? Similarly, this particular gamete can fuse with this, or it can fuse with this. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me, now you will get zygote. Zygote from this fertilization. What will be the genotypes of that zygote? So consider this capital T is fusing with this. So capital T, this is one. Then this capital T is fusing with this small t. This is the second one. Now this small t is fusing with this small t, this, and this is the problem. So here these male gamete capital T, small t, female gamete capital T, small t. Now we are talking about zygote. So like this and like this. So here the phenotypes, genotypes are going to be like this. So now if you consider like how many tall plants are there now?
Three.
Right? So these three, they are going to be tall, and this one is going to be short. That's why you are getting 3:1 ratio. Okay. So this is called, there are two things in each genetic experiment or each breeding or cross experiment. You should be able to determine what is the genotype ratio and what is the phenotype ratio. In each experiment of genetics, these two ratios are predicted and you should be able to do this calculation. We understood what do you mean by phenotypic ratio, that is 3:1. So here you should not say 1:3. Always you should write the number. The first number should represent the dominant one. Tall is the dominant characteristic. So that's why you are writing 3 first. If you write 1:3, your answer is going to be wrong. You should write 3:1. The as a standard nomenclature, the first number should represent the phenotype of number of the phenotype of the dominant one. Now coming to the genotype ratio. The genotype ratio will be, what should be the genotypic ratio?
1:2:1.
So it is very clear here that 1:2:1. First letter represents where both the alleles are dominant. Second, you have two that represents uh, one is dominant, one is recessive. That means one is capital, one is small, and last one represent the recessive one. So this is the genotypic and phenotypic ratio, which is also used in the like you have to remember these ratios, whatever you get, and these will be utilized in the numericals later on. Here you can see that, I will come to this slide later. So based on this outcome, you can understand this concept by making a square grid. Okay, we can understand this genotypic and phenotypic ratios by making a square. Let's understand what do you mean by this square, then we will come back to the Mendel's experiment. If you have any doubts so far, you can ask. So this particular square which you have just seen, that is called Punnett square, and it is very helpful in solving the genetic problems. So basically Punnett square, this is the technique which was developed by an English genetic scientist. The name was Reginald Punnett. Okay, and what is the strength of this Punnett square technique is that without doing an experiment, without doing any genetic cross, you will be able to calculate the genotype and phenotype ratio of a genetic cross. Okay, you can calculate the probability that what will be the, if the question is what is the probability of getting a particular phenotype, you can use the Punnett square approach to find the answer. Let's see how the Punnett square is used. So first you have to make a square, then you have to write down the gametes. In our case, we have seen like what I was discussing. Let me have the pen. I was saying that we have when the plant was capital T small t. So I was saying that this particular plant is having these gametes. So write down those gametes on the top of this square. Now here on the top you can write male gametes, and on the this side, left hand side, you can write the female gametes. In our case, these are the gametes here. So now you can write capital T here, capital T small t here. Here it will be capital T small t and small t small t. And now easily you can see that you get 1:2:1 genotypic ratio, and phenotypic ratio is 3:1. So here tall, here tall, here tall, here is small. That means the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Okay, so this is the strength of the Punnett square. The steps are: write down the gametes on the top and the left hand side, then fill all the boxes with those letters and calculate the genotype and phenotype ratios. Let's see that this particular example actually we discussed. Here just letters are different. Here you have capital R, small r versus capital R, small r. So the answer is going to be the same, 3:1 and 1:2:1. Let's discuss this. You should be able to calculate this. If father capital B small b has brown hair, mother has blonde hair. Predict the possible phenotypes of their children and include the percentage probability. Can you do this? What are the phenotypes? Can you tell me?
Sir,
Of their
1:1.
children? 1:1. Okay. And what is the phenotype?
1:1.
The phenotype is 1:1. Genotype
No,
is
no.
also 1.
You are telling me the ratio, right? Phenotypic ratio. I'm asking phenotypes. First, you should tell me what is the phenotype, then phenotypic ratio.
Sir, possible are capital B, small b, and small b, small b.
Okay.
सर
So
एक में ब्राउन हेयर हो जाएगा, एक में सर ब्लॉन्ड हेयर हो जाएगा.
yes. Okay. So be specific to your answers. When I'm asking phenotype, the phenotype here is brown hair and blonde hair. Okay. Phenotypic ratio is 1:1. Okay. Be specific. What is asked in the question, whether it's phenotype or phenotypic ratio. Okay, let's try one more question.
So 0 will be the answer.
Yes, it will be the 0. You can do the Punnett square and you will find that everywhere in each small square you have capital T, which is the dominant one. That means all the puppies will be having the long tail. So there is a 0 probability that a puppy will be there with short tail. Now let's move to the next level in the Punnett square. If we consider two characteristics together, so far in previous problem there was only one trait, right? Here now we are going to have a dihybrid cross. The Punnett square for a dihybrid cross. What do you mean by that? Dihybrid cross means you are going to consider a plant or a species which is heterozygous. Let's say for round and yellow seed. So two traits are considered. So any genetic cross where you are going to consider two traits together, that is going to be dihybrid cross. So let's understand the question. The pea plant that is heterozygous for round and yellow seed. Heterozygous for round, that means it is capital R, small r, and heterozygous for yellow seed, that means capital Y, small y. It is self-fertilized. That means this is the cross now. Capital R, capital Y, small y cross, capital R, capital Y, small y. What are the phenotypic ratios of the resulting offspring? we have to calculate the phenotypic ratio. So what is going to be the approach? Approach is same. You have to first find out the gametes of each plant, each parent. And how to make the gamete? This is the way. Okay, so capital R and capital Y, this is going to be one type of gamete. This capital R can go with small y, the second one. This small r can go with capital Y, third one. This small r and small y. Same thing here. Then you have to use the same approach. Write down the gametes on the top of the square and on the left hand side, and then you will determine the genotype and phenotype ratios. Okay, let's understand this concept by a problem. Go through this question, make a Punnett square for this, and let me know your answers.
सर आप एक सॉल्व कर दीजिए.
Okay.
सर आई थिंक हमेशा टॉल एंड पिंक फ्लावर्स बनेंगे.
Okay.
That would be the phenotype, and genotype would be capital T, small t, capital R, and then capital T, small t, capital R, small r. वो तो possibilities होंगी.
Okay. Let's go through this question
Sir,
carefully.
all plants will be tall. Some will be red, some will be pink.
Okay, so that means let me write your answer. Let me have the pen. Okay, so you are saying that you should have there are two categories. You are saying tall red
And
tall pink.
pink. Yes.
Okay, and so these are the possible phenotypes. And what is their ratio? Phenotypic ratio?
1:1.
1:1.
7. No, sir.
No.
3:1 is 3 is red, 1 is pink.
Okay, so you are saying 3 here in this category, 1 here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other answer, guys? Okay, let's go through the question. In Snapdragon, tallness is dominant to dwarfness. So you have capital T, small t. Red color is due to gene capital R, and white is due to its corresponding allele small r. But under the heterozygous condition, when you have this, you have the pink color. Okay. Dwarf pink snapdragon. So what should be the genotype of this plant? When we are saying a dwarf pink snapdragon, what should I write as a genotype of this?
Sir, small
Dwarf
t, capital R, small r.
So you are saying small t, and
Capital R, small r.
Okay, capital R. This is the irritating thing. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So dwarf, yes, you are right. Small t, pink. That means it should be capital R, small r. Good. Now is crossed with a plant which is homozygous for tallness. That means what should I write?
Both capital T, capital R.
Okay. Okay. Now can we make the gametes here? Here, if you see, all the gametes are going to be the same. 4 types of gamete will be there, but all the gametes will be same. What about here?
2 gametes will be there. Small t, capital R, small t, small r.
Yes. Right. So now if we do the Punnett square, right? This is going to be the Punnett square now. So here 4 gametes, all are same, T, capital R. We have written all 4 here, and on the left hand side we have written the other one, small t, capital R, small t, small r. Basically you have 2 types of, and correspondingly we have filled this filled the small square accordingly. So now if you see, only thing will be tall red. So total 16 squares are there, and you will see that 8 out of 16 they are tall red, and remaining 8 they are going to be tall pink. Other possibilities are 0. Okay, so the ratio here is, phenotypic ratio is 1:1. Phenotype is tall red and tall pink, and all these are the genotypes which are written in this square. Any doubt here in this question?
सर आप एक बार वापस एक्सप्लेन कर दिया.
Yes. So here you have seen, let me start from the beginning. Whenever you have a dihybrid cross, you have to first make the gamete. This is a rule of thumb. Whenever you want to make Punnett square, make the gametes. Okay. If this is the genotype, how to make gamete? That this capital R with capital Y, this capital R with small y. So these 2 gametes. Then this small r with capital Y, 3rd gamete, and small r with small y, 4th gamete. Similarly here, then write down these gametes on the top and left hand side of the square, and then you can calculate the genotype and phenotype ratio. Here let me explain one more time. So here if you read the statement, it says that the heterozygous, dwarf pink. Dwarf pink means the genotype should be, dwarf means it should be small t, small t. Pink means it should be capital R, small r. Okay, that is the one parent. Second one is the plant which is homozygous for tallness and red. That means capital T, and capital R, capital R. So if you consider what should be the gamete here, what should be the gamete? Here again 4 gametes will be there, 4. So this capital T with this, and this capital T again with this R. So both are T, R, capital T, capital R. Again, if you consider the second T with this R and this R, again you are going to get TR, TR. These are the possible gametes. Now you should consider the gametes of this plant. Small t, capital R. This small t with small r. This small t with this capital R. And small t, small r. So now these are the next 4 gametes. Now what you have to do? You have to put these on the top and left hand side. So you can fill this, fill all these small square. So here it should be capital T, small t, capital R, capital R. What should be the phenotype of this plant? Capital T, small t, capital R, capital R. What should be the phenotype?
Tall and red.
Tall and red. Same thing here, tall and red, tall and red, tall and red. Now here it is going to be, the genotype is going to be capital T, small t, capital R, small r. What should be the phenotype here?
Tall and pink.
Tall and pink. Okay, let's consider the third one. What should be the phenotype here?
So tall and red.
Tall and red again. Okay, here
Tall and pink.
tall and pink. Okay, so this is going to be the answer. We have tall and red 8/16, tall and pink 8/16. Okay, that is the phenotypic ratio. Now the ratio is basically 1:1. You have 8 plants which are tall red, 8 plants which are tall and pink. That means phenotypic ratio is 1:1. Okay, any doubt here in this problem?
No, sir.
Okay, now you should try this question.
So पेरेंट्स के तो दोनों होमोजाइगस ही होंगे, मीनिंग कैपिटल B कैपिटल B स्मॉल b स्मॉल b स्मॉल b स्मॉल b कैपिटल S कैपिटल S.
Let me write down your answers.
So basically दोनों traits homozygous होंगे दोनों में.
So the first question is the genotype of the parent. So what is your answer? What is the genotype of the parent?
So capital B small b for one parent. Small s, my bad. Small s.
Okay,
एक parent होगा and the other one would be small b and capital S.
Okay.
सर
Yes.
सर एक लाइन का मीनिंग समझ में आ रहा.
Okay.
सर ये वाली लाइन like a homozygous black spotted mouse is crossed with homozygous brown solid white. तो solid mouse. So इस लाइन का मीनिंग क्या है?
What do you mean by homozygous black spot? That means when you are saying so that that particular mouse, the first one, a homozygous black spotted mouse. That means that particular mouse is homozygous for both the traits, black as well as spotted. Okay, that is crossed with a second mouse which is homozygous for both the traits, brown as well as solid. That is the meaning. What should, okay, so here one student told the genotype of parent. Now what should be the genotype of F1 mice?
Sir, it will be same because F1 is self.
So heterozygous होगा तो capital B small b capital S small s.
F1 तो self में होता है ना, तो वो तो same ही रहेगा.
F1
Here
parents का cross का होता
here
है F1.
yes, both the parents were crossed to get the F1 generation, right?
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Then this will be capital V, small b, capital S, small s.
Okay. So now the next part of the question is that a test cross is then carried out by mating the F1 mice. Okay, this is your F1 mice with brown spotted mouse. What should be the genotype of brown spotted mice?
Small b, small b, small s, small s.
Spotted is yes. Okay. So now this is your final question. You are doing the cross between the F1 generation and the small b, small b, small s, small s. So you should be able to tell me what is the genotypic and phenotypic ratios. What are the phenotypes and the phenotypic ratios and genotypes also in this cross?
So genotype would be same as the F1 generation के parents.
All
Yes, sir. So दो possibilities होंगी, capital B, small b, capital S, small s,
capital B, small b, capital S, small s.
and then small b, small s, same as the F1 generation.
Okay.
I mean, I might be wrong, but
Okay.
So small s capital small b और small s capital S होगा एक.
Can you repeat your answer?
So small s, small b,
Hmm.
and small s, capital S.
See, I don't understand what you are saying actually here.
So
What
मुझे
you are
इस क्वेश्चन में कंफ्यूजन हो रही है.
Sir, capital B, small b, capital S, small s.
wait, let me write down what you are saying. Can you repeat?
Capital B, small b,
Hmm.
capital S, small s,
Hmm.
capital B, small b,
Hmm.
small s,
Okay.
then small b,
Hmm.
capital S, small s,
Okay.
then all small b, b, s, s.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these are the genotypes. So what should be the ratio here?
Sir, 25% for all. 1:1:1.
Okay. Let's see what is the answer. Okay, so these are the four answers: capital B, small b, capital S, small s. Okay, small b, capital S, small s. Okay, capital B, small s, small s. Okay, and then finally or. Yes, your answer is right. So 1:1:1:1. So here you should write the phenotype also, right? So here first one is capital B, capital S, small s. That means it is going to be black and solid. Here with small b, capital S, small s, it is going to be brown solid. With capital B, small s, it should be black and spotted. And last one, small b, small s, it should be brown and spotted. Any doubt here in this question? No? Because time is over, we can discuss. Like if you have doubt, we can discuss one more time this question in the next lecture.
सर इसका जीनोटाइप कैसे निकाला एक बार और बता दो.
Like genotype of F1, like genotype of
F1.
F1 is simple. You are asking from the parental generation how to get F1
No, so
generation,
sorry,
right?
for the B part. Sorry, sir.
Okay,
For the
okay.
B.
So B part, same approach we can use. Let's see. So let me do one thing. So we can erase. You can make the Punnett square. I will give you the gametes, and then you can do that exercise. You have the pen. Okay, so here 4 gametes again you can make. Capital V with capital S, then capital B with small s, small b with capital S, small b with small s. Okay, then on the here you can, all the 4 are going to be same, right? So here also small b small s, small b small s, small b small s, small b small s. So now here it should be capital B small b, capital S small s, capital B small b small s small s, small b capital S small s, small b small s small s. So like this you can complete your Punnett square, and ultimately you will end up with these genotypes, that there are only 4. If you do this Punnett square thing, you will end up with only these 4 plants will be there in each category. So that's why 4 by 16, that means 1 by 4, or because you are getting 4 plants in each category, that means finally the phenotypic ratio is going to be 1:1:1:1. Any doubt now in this question?
No, sir.
Okay, I will stop here. I will upload the slides on LMS. Go through. You should be really expert in Punnett square and in calculating the genotypic and phenotypic frequencies. And because this Punnett square we will be doing regularly, I think in each lecture. Only thing is the concepts will be like, we will be dealing with whether we are dealing with genetics, Mendelian genetics or non-Mendelian genetics. Punnett square, the technique is applicable everywhere. Okay, we will be solving some more problems based on this concept. Okay, so if there is no other doubt, I will stop the session here, then see you people next week.
Sir, one thing I wanted to ask. Sir, we are doing this, but in real life, we do not know how many children will be there. So how we are getting the perfect ratio?
Okay, so basically what you are getting, that is just a prediction, mathematical prediction. Okay, see, it is not, it will give you idea, like there, like if you want to calculate the probability, I will say, what is the chance when suppose a deceased guy is marrying a normal girl, and you want to see like what is the chance of your first child to be affected. So it will give you probability that this much chance is there for your baby to be having this disease. It is not definitely that your first person is going to be, the first baby is going to have the disease, but it will give you the percentage, or I will say the probability. But with surety you cannot say whether you are going to have the baby, definitely it is going to have the disease or not. No, that you cannot say. Only you will get the chance, like probability. It will give you
Yes,
that
sir.
idea. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Okay, so let's end this session. If you have, you can think over these, and we will be discussing some more like interesting things. Yesterday one of you asked regarding that blue or black eyes. So similar to that, or even more interesting things you will be seeing in this course. Okay, so take care. Bye. See you next week. Yep.
बस lectures upload कर देना.
Yes, sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.